Hey everybody, my name's Craig. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about taxes. I know it's a really amazingly fun topic. I'm reminded of it because a couple weeks ago I had to make my fourth quarterly tax payment for last year. It was a lot of money and it was painful. And you always hear online in the news and the media that everyone hates paying taxes. They think it's dumb, it's stupid, it's worthless. And, nobody understands why we should pay taxes. And the truth is, this is like my 8th time to try to make this video over the last couple days, maybe a week. Because I've had a hard time figuring out exactly the story I wanted to tell. I came up with this idea that I like. It's about how humans have made money and abstraction of value, and that we invented money as a means to make trade economies a little simpler and to allow for the accumulation of wealth in means and ways that didn't spoil. I mean, gold is a fantastic example. It's corrosion resistant and shiny. And then attach that value to, the fact that I like to be a person who makes equal value trades, whether it's trading my time and energy and money for money through employment, or me spending money on a car or a house or food. I like to make sure that there's a good value trade, and then connect the value of taxes and how I get to pay for roads and schools so that the people around me aren't idiots. I mean, they have a basic level of education. I get to pay for the safety net for the poor and the elderly. I get to pay for everything from a local to a state to a federal police force. I get to pay for the world's biggest and best military. I don't have to worry about bombs hitting me in the head or people outside invading this country. And that's a fantastic thing. I get to pay for things like the EPA and the FDA that make sure my food and water and air are safe, that make sure that the drugs that are on the shelves do what they say they're going to do and are honest about their side effects. I get to pay for so many wonderful things, the criminal and civil justice system. When you really come down to think about it, with everything we get through the government, through our collaboration as a society to govern ourselves, taxes are actually a really good value. At least I think so. I mean, our government isn't perfect, and there's a lot of things that I wish we would change. But even with that, I still think it's a good value. But that's not really the narrative I wanted to say. That's not the story I wanted to tell. Because I wanted to talk about the fact that paying taxes is hard. And I don't like it. Nobody likes it. But there's a really important coping mechanism that I learned through my years of dealing with mental illness, mainly depression, that's really helped me get through the hard times, the bad times, the difficult times, to do things that I didn't want to do, to be disciplined, and to remember ultimately why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. Because it's really easy to get down on and frustrated and disappointed and then make stupid decisions and bad choices when we're in these bad and hard and difficult times. And so the story I wanted to tell is about how I learned through my past to remember the goals, the future, the choices that I've made when I'm in those hard times. A great example is the fact that I'm still single. I'm 35, never married, no kids. And maybe to some of you that's a really good thing, ladies. But anyway, and I get, surprising no one, I get lonely sometimes. And it can be really, devastatingly lonely. There's this joke I like to tell mainly to myself because it's probably not very funny, about how I think it's cute when, the teenagers and, early 20s somethings talk about being lonely. And I don't want to dismiss or invalidate their feelings because I've been there. I've, been lonely when I was a teenager and in my 20s, and I, had this, what I felt, and I'm sure they feel the same too, this kind of overwhelming loneliness where I would, it'd be months and I'd write terrible teenage poetry. I never did this, but I hear stories of people, drinking themselves under the table and making really, really bad choices with dating and sex and whatnot, and they just have this overwhelming loss, this overwhelming loneliness. And to that I say, that's cute. That's my Tuesday. Yeah. I've got like 10, 20 years on those people living in this kind of same thing. I've learned these coping skills to help me deal with this, and so that's this big feeling that they have. It doesn't really get much better, but you learn how to deal with it, and that's the point. And so when I have these, feelings of sadness or depression or loneliness, I remind myself why I'm in the situation I'm in. I mean, so if you're just going to be sad or lonely or depressed and you're not going to do anything about it, I guess if you have certain mental health issues, you can't do anything about it and you should get professional help. Do that. But otherwise, we need to do something about it. And for me to complain about being lonely and not doing anything about it is just as silly. But I am doing something about it. Just not something that will fix it right now, because right now I'm in the process of going back to school for counseling. I start my master's in the fall, and that'll be a couple years, and then I get licensure, and then I go from there. But that means I'm going to school full time because I really want my school time to be, I want to focus on that and do it the best I can so that I am the best counselor I can possibly be, so when I step into that, it's good. I don't want to, half-ass my way through it, seize kid degrees, and then be not good when I get there. I want to do this with excellence. And so I'm going to school full-time. I'm working a couple part-time jobs. I've got a family thing that happened this past year that I'm really kind of focusing on that to be there for my family. And that really excludes me from a lot of things. I don't have the time or energy or money to dedicate to a relationship in the way that I think it deserves. I don't want to start something new and just kind of, take it for granted on day one. I mean, if someone amazing drops into my lap and they're fantastic and they understand my situation and everything is pretty easy, then I will absolutely do that. I'm not being blind here. I swipe left and right occasionally. But I'm not holding my breath for it either. Because I know I've made this choice to go back to school so I can have a better life in the future, and that comes with certain sacrifices. There's certain things I can't do right now because it would take away from the priority that I've made of my life right now. And that sucks sometimes, and it hurts, and it's hard sometimes, and I get lonely or frustrated or overwhelmed. But then I remember I'm doing this for a purpose, and this thing that I'm doing has an end date. You need to be really careful to make sure that you don't make goals that are too far out or too nebulous, and you end up running this rat race over and over and over thinking that you'll get to something one day, or you don't have good, concrete goals. Or even worse, that you have these like pie in the sky ideals of what your goals are going to be. I know that when I get that degree, when I start my practice, things are going to still be hard. But I'll be in a much better place then. I'm not to say that I'm in a bad place now, but I have to remind myself, I'm in this place because I chose this place. And that's okay. There's a lot of things we do, like when I do yoga or work out or whatever, there are times that I really don't want to do it. There are times that I'm really sore, but I remind myself that I've put a value on taking care of myself and my body, and working out and taking those time and taking that energy and taking that soreness is the result of it. And so I shouldn't be surprised when I have part of the side effects, part of the outcomes of what it is, because I want to be healthy in the end run. I want to last a long time. I want to be as healthy as I can be. And so that's what I want to say about taxes, is they're unfun. I don't like seeing that portion of my paycheck come out. I don't like making those quarterly payments and moving money around every month to make sure I can pay my tax bill. But then I remind myself, it kind of goes back to that value part. I value this country. I value the freedom I have. I value the people who have sacrificed for it and who are sacrificing right now for it. Even the people that I completely disagree with. And my taxes pay for that. I have a free country to live in, and my taxes pay for that. I have an amazing place where I don't have to really worry of whether or not I'm going to get like E. coli poisoning from the food I eat. Or even worse. I don't have to worry about whether or not I'm going to get polio stepping outside. And that's fantastic. And so when I, come up to these things, these bad times of, frustration or whatever with, having to spend a lot of money, seeing that come out of my paycheck, I remind myself, because of this paycheck, because of this money that's getting out, there is a woman who is working 4 jobs, trying to deal with, taking care of her son, who can because she's getting food stamps. And I helped pay for that. There is someone out there that is committing a crime, and there is a police officer there to stop them so that an innocent person is protected. I get to pay for that. There are people right now cleaning up the water supply and figuring out ways to get clean water to the people in Flint, Michigan, and in some way I'm paying for that. I'm kind of bummed that I have to pay for that, because it should have never happened in the first place. But this isn't a perfect country, and we have those situations, those agencies in place so that when bad stuff happens, we're prepared for it. So I don't mind paying taxes. I have to remind myself that I don't mind paying taxes, and I have to remind myself that I actually like to do those things with my money. So, that's that. Tell me what you think about paying taxes. If you think they're just completely stupid. Tell me what you think of my coping mechanism. To remind yourself of the reasons why you're doing things. To remind yourself of the choices you made when you're going through bad times, so that you can focus on the good and the future and your values instead of the pain and frustration you're feeling at the moment. Because if you only focus on that pain, you're going to have a lot harder time getting out of it. So, hope you enjoyed this. Y'all have a great week, a great day, and I will talk to y'all later. Don't kill yourself to live. Peace. See ya. Hey everybody, it's end card time. Get to use my other camera. So hope you all enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you think about taxes, if you hate them, if you love them, if you think they're stupid, if you think the government is stupid, or if you think I'm stupid. I probably don't really care if you think I'm stupid about taxes, because I actually like them. Check up there. I got my diploma in and put up there. Pretty excited about that. Here's $1. What up? So, Raul, I saw your post on Facebook, and I'll get to talking about lying, when it's good, when it's bad. I think that'll fit in really good with 2 videos I'm thinking about related to critical thinking with Craig, related to biases, and just the start of my ethics post. So that'll be fun. So anyway, I'll see you later. Toodaloo.